episode 118 of Who Do You Think You Are? It's spooky season in the studio. We've been rolling with that intro. Got lights, and should we talk about the elephant in the room? Pedro's dead.
In the room. I turned Pedro into a mojo talisman. This little clown here.
What's a mojo talisman?
It's a hoodoo thing.
I'm already learning things from you. See, this is why I'm sick of Pedro, okay? He would already be burping, doing this high energy thing, and I'm already learning something within the first. So, sorry, I cut you off.
That's
I
okay.
was excited.
We'll learn about hoodoo and the blues tradition today.
Okay, so what is this?
Hoodoo is like if you ever heard about having a black cat bone.
Yeah.
You got to carry around the black cat bone so you can attract fame or a lover who has deserted you, or if you get fame through the black cat bone, that's how you end up having an untimely death. Oh. It's sort of like the Faustian trade. You carry around the black cat bone, you get the fame, you get bone cancer or something. In order to attract good luck, I thought, Pedro's a cute little brown man.
So
I'm going to carry him around in my pocket.
So what part of his ashes are in there?
This is Pedro.
His ashes?
He's been transmuted into this little clown.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Pedro.
Say hello, Pedro. Don't be rude. He's still getting used to his clown body. Oh,
man.
My God. He's so sleepy.
He has the same exact posture as the old Pedro I knew.
Yeah, it's same energy.
But you're back.
That Pedro energy.
We're in the studio here, joined by CJ, who's been here multiple times. Hobo Blues Clown, Dr. Zevia, many alter egos. Alter, is that the word?
Dr. Zevia back in the studio.
So, so this is the first time we've even had a guest fill in for Pete, who, I don't know, he said 4 a.m. he threw up. I throw up every morning.
Yeah.
He has diarrhea. I have diarrhea every single day. So it kind of feels like it was just kind of an excuse.
It's an excuse, right.
And I'm not having it,
Yep. Well, Pedro, you're lazy. Mm-hmm. You're lazy. If you're, shooting stuff out your both ends, there's buckets, there's portable toilets and camping gear that we could have gotten set up for you. But instead you have a white man come in and do it. Let's be honest. I'm sorry.
And you're talking to the camera, which I thought that was, so it's weird. It's like you're projecting towards him.
I want him
out
to
into
know
the ether,
when
back into the ether.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's like when you have, I don't know, I don't have a kid or anything, but if you're saying something out loud and looking in a different direction, it really throws them off, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like kind of like, are they talking?
Well,
about
you don't want to engage or acknowledge them, because then they get a sense of self-worth, and that's not
true.
good.
Well, I don't want to get self-worth too early.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you guys for calling me and thinking of me when Pete got sick. Sorry that you're sick, Pedro.
Yeah.
We'll get you some medicine and feel better. That was rubbing his belly. It
doesn't
wasn't-
look good.
Yeah, no, it looks terminal.
That thing's great. Where'd you find that again? Where'd you get that?
So that's Mr. Bojangles. I've had that guy around for a long time. Back when I was like 16, my neighbor, my outlaw biker neighbor, who I learned everything about being a man
You
from.
got that bandana from, right?
Actually, I did.
See, I
thought you
remember
were-
some things from episodes.
Yeah. I got him from that guy. He found him in, I don't know, some house he was working
I
on.
do
and
not
just,
trust that guy.
yeah, it was kind of weird.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to give to somebody.
It's cool though.
It's cool,
because
but it's a
I was
weird
dressing
thing.
up like a clown for the band. So that was
so
part of
he
it.
knew. Okay, that makes more sense. I guess that's the other elephant in the room, is that we're kind of dressed up because we've been doing that this year.
Are we? I thought this was just the new look. Okay.
I mean, it could be. I mean, I felt danger. It's it's a dangerous day and age to paint your face any color.
Yeah.
I got some eyeliner on, some black lipstick, and like my sister came over earlier to do it, and she, we were talking about how this year, like October, I love this season, like Halloween, just the spooky. I don't know, it's like basic, but I love this time of the year usually.
Yeah.
But this whole year has just been thrown off by Corona, politics, the world's on fire, so it's like it's hard to get that cheer. I guess I don't know. It's nostalgia that you're like trying to get. Which I know it's not you shouldn't be fishing for a feeling, right? You just be experiencing.
Yeah, I mean,
what the season's bringing.
But at the same time, if that's what is going to satisfy your soul, and you're listening to yourself and what you want, and you're gonna, it's gonna make you happy, just do it.
Yeah.
Who cares about it's one thing if you're burnt out and you're not getting happy feelings, but if you're doing something that makes you feel good, then go for it.
But I'm not feeling like I want to feel that.
Yeah.
So me and my sister were talking about this. So she's like, she was off today. So she's like, I don't know, I could maybe do your makeup or something. And then I was like, yeah, that'd be fun. She's like, it'll put me in the Halloween spirit. So we listen to like Halloween music and I, painted my face like any 32-year-old would do before doing a podcast. It's normal. But it's still, it was like trying to fish for that feeling to like feel like this is October. It feels good to be around haunted and spooky things. And then it just still kind of doesn't feel like anything. It just feels like getting old sucks. My optimism is gone.
Is it always gone, or is it COVID pandemic gone?
I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like now that we've been in it for so long, I even remember like we've released my band, The Edisons, has released a couple singles last couple months. And I remember in March, we wrote and released the song Portals. And I think back on the memory of writing that song, listening to the demos out on my patio, like smoking a joint and like hashing out lyrics, stuff like that. Like I remember that now being a good feeling, but also feeling like optimistic about October, and now feels like it's worse than it ever really was. And I don't know if it's a part of getting older that I also feel like, I don't know, maybe it's art isn't made to try to get something from it. It's only supposed to be like self-serving to your soul, right? Mm-hmm. But I miss when you were young, being like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, being like thinking that you're on the cusp of something or on the edge of maybe breaking through a little. Maybe I don't know. Like a lot of that's just dwindled.
Yeah, you don't know what's gonna come next.
Yeah,
and now you have a pretty good idea what's gonna come next.
Donald Trump, 4 more years, baby. We did it.
I just think that getting older is part that. I think that it's definitely, you have a lot more behind you that you are drawing reference from, so there's less novelty.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
So things are less, it's less often that you're going to encounter something that really attracts your attention because you have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
And then next to that, there's the whole idea that, being 30 right now, I think about, what do I have 10 years before I'm basically old, before I can't really say, look at, that I have any youth.
I thought about that as 30 though. Do you not feel like I sometimes, I don't know, it isn't an embarrassment or shame, but it's not, because it's what feeds my, like doing this. I love doing this podcast. It brings me lots of joy. Playing music, that brings me a lot of joy too, but it's also this thing, like I can't just put my guitar away in my closet and never pick it up. Like I know that I will start getting depressed and start, what's the other side? Watching TV I need to expel what I consume. And I do sometimes think like, God, going on a date or something, like, God, it's 32, he's playing in a band. It's like, fuck, I'm that guy, dude.
Yeah.
But also it's really hard. I mean,
but
that's
how
ego,
many
right?
of those women are that woman as well? Like, to put yourself there is to say, oh, I'm that guy, as if you're putting yourself down. But there's plenty of women that are in the same position. I think that's partly generational.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of us out there that are just like, we didn't figure it out, or we didn't, there was no opportunity to do something that meant anything to us. So here we are still floating around trying to, like, quote unquote, find ourselves.
Or figure it out. I mean, isn't this that's also the thing I struggle with, not struggle with, but I think about, it's like, no regrets when I get older. I don't want to be, 60 or 70, be like, what if I started that podcast? What if I put out that album? So essentially you are doing it.
One time, on that thought, I was talking to this 60-some-odd-year-old woman at USAA. Cheers. And it was when I went back for the last time, and I was talking to her, and I said, I just don't want to get to the point. It's bad luck to cheers and not drink it.
I've heard that.
I don't want to get to the point where where I'm, in my 60s, having to start some job like this. I'll kill myself.
Yeah.
And I look up, and the person who I'm talking to is that person exactly.
Oh shit!
And I was just like,
how did they take that?
She it was awkward. She didn't say anything about it, and then I kind of just started to yammer and try and say other things aside from that in order to go, let's not talk about that anymore. But yeah, I mean, same.
But age is also, I guess it's that thing where you do kind of act, not that you act your age, you act it's a personality thing too. I mean, there's some people that are this age that are they seem way like I don't know. It just also seems so boring to me. So it's like as much as I get like it's I put myself vulnerable, so it's like ego shattering, which is all bullshit anyways. And it's like a bad loop
Another
to get.
level of
Yeah, it's a bad loop to get stuck in anyways. But then it's like if I project myself to what society wants you to be, and I don't know why we even got it.
But what's that? I don't even think we have
Yeah,
what society. First of all,
materialism.
you
Just provide. Yeah, it just.
whose society? Like, what do you feel like you belong to? A culture that's in any way singular?
No, I mean, and it's just dividing more and more every single day. I mean, that's the power in numbers, though. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Like, because then more.
Sort of. I mean, we did have the red blue divide and all of that was like a tool that was effective before the internet. You
Right.
know? I mean, like,
Yeah.
don't you feel like when you were a kid, things made a lot more sense than they do now?
But also, I didn't know anything. Like, I was so dumb.
Yeah, but neither did anyone else. Doesn't it seem like to me? And I'm projecting on you. I'm just asking you things that confirm my feelings. But but really, I felt like before 9/11,
Yeah.
there was an idea in my head about the way the world was, and it seemed like it was based on the way everybody sort of acted.
Yeah.
And then after 9/11, it was like, oh, okay, there's a level of reality that we were taking for granted, and that we don't do that anymore. And I don't think that's just getting older. I think that it's partly that cultural event and that shift with the internet where now everybody, everything, like you said, numbers do necessitate this, but also the ability to communicate.
For sure.
It causes us all to niche down so far
Yeah.
that like you don't have a click or a sense of cultural unity, and so that's why we can't even agree on the basic fundamental, ways of how we want to govern ourselves.
Yeah.
and things
Board a
like
baby
that.
till they're 3 or something.
Right.
But also, like, to that point, so yeah, like the world was different after 9/11 and the way with the internet and the way that things kind of shift our perception. I think for me that I'm learning a lot now too is not only through feeling like we have the self of red and blue, and then also just the narrative that we're taught. And this is probably super ignorant to believe so much of what I was taught as I was young. And 9/11 was kind of that shell shock, being like, I can't trust everything that these people are telling me. But then you start going down conspiracy, then you're a conspiracy theorist. So it's like I have to become a realist now and come back to reality. But then you realize the conservative and the liberal agendas, what they're teaching us is all to make us look like the good guy. I mean, that's what, we talked about this last week, Christopher Columbus, or with all these stories of history. It's like, we were okay. It's just, you push things aside to try to make us, throw us up to the top.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's such bullshit because just tell the real story. We don't have to be the hero, but it's what happened for us to get here.
I'm glad we're talking about this because I wanted to kind of devil's advocate this a little bit.
Okay.
Is the opposite side of that, though, or the bad side of that realization that we should get that information is that there was something good that came out of us all believing that we are
The good guy.
essentially at some midpoint from this mission that we started, which was to create freedom, in the world,
Yeah.
or at least in our corner of it. And so, to be told that story is pretty inspiring, and it causes people to behave in a way that is admirable and beneficial.
Yeah.
And so to have that shattered, like, without any context,
That's what makes it worse.
yeah, and it almost flips it on its head where you go, oh, okay, so actually we're not the great whatever, we're the worst whatever, and it's just like that's also not correct.
Yeah.
It's not at all reasonable to believe that because the sugar-coated version is completely incorrect, then it must be the exact opposite.
That's a great point.
And I think people rush to that, and it's like, let's just think about it in context. You mentioned last week, I was listening to your guys' show last week, and you mentioned that the whole Columbus thing and how everybody was raping everybody and killing everybody.
Yeah.
And we're judging the past by today's standards.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's just, I think maybe we talked about this in the thread. I don't know if you guys talked about this online,
knows?
but Anthony Cumia was on, what was it, Legion of Skanks, I think, and made a funny point about like what was Columbus supposed to do?
Oh yeah, turn around.
Somebody's already
Yeah,
here.
Exactly. Yeah.
See ya.
They're just throwing fire arrows at you.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, no, we're turning around. I'm sorry, we didn't know anybody was here. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you started reading the Immorality Key yet.
Not yet.
But it's also, it goes in that same point of being, it's the whole thing with like weed, or any of these drugs saying, this is bad, this is bad, this is terrible. Then, you turn 16, 17, you smoke a joint, you're like, this isn't as bad. Like, I'm not a fried egg. Like, I feel good. Like, I have ideas now.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. It's like, if you teach something and then if you shatter it, no matter what degree it's shattered to, it's going to fuck with your brain and like your programming, essentially. It's like you're getting this virus glitch kind of thing later on, and that's what acid does. That's what mushroom does. It shatters reality to what you were trained to perceive.
Yeah,
and it's a fucking amazing book, dude.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
One of my favorite quotes of it so far was, and like Alan Watts or this book, like this kind of reading, they quote like 100 books and writers, so I never know who they're quoting. They just throw it off like, this one book, The Land Before, Passage Time, Supernatural. I'm like, yeah, sure.
They're like Mahatma Gurdjieff.
Yeah,
Socrates was like,
yeah,
okay, whatever.
I just love how they always know that offhand. But God, I loved this analogy that they're talking about religion and God and what you believe and who you believe in. He says that once you plunge into the ocean, doesn't matter if you believe that water exists. And I love that metaphor. Is it a metaphor, analogy?
Yeah.
It's just a sense of being suspended by something you don't need to have a name for or an idea for. It's just you are programmed to have an idea of what it is and what it represents and what it's suspending you in. And that's the same thing with drugs, where it can just take your brain to another place. I don't know how we got here, because I was talking about my sister October Halloween and dressing up and the elephant
also
in her
being
room,
30 or 32,
and us just being in paint.
But I know
I'm supposed to be
it doesn't
Frankenstein's
matter.
monster, okay?
And I'm literally
It's
just
alive.
me as myself,
And
only
that's
a clown.
Hobo Blues Clown.
Yes.
Is that the same makeup you do every time, or do you kind of wing it?
This is what I did last time for the album, was to just take some paint and smear it all over myself.
Yeah.
Which I actually like better. I've done like the classic clown, but I do like this. It's more hobo-ish and just like,
Yeah, I can see that. I like the third eye too.
Yeah,
It's
I
a good, and
fucked
the
that
gold
up when
paint.
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. And this is probably how I'll at least wear the propeller hat when I do my own pod whenever I get that off the ground.
Yeah, you should do it. It's fun, man.
Yeah. What prompted the Frankenstein?
I love the story of Frankenstein.
Okay.
I even have him tattooed on me. See,
Did you read like the old
Frankenstein's
school? Oh, nice.
I did. Yeah. What I love about it's the creation of the monster that kills you. So I look at it internally like C.J. Young, kind of like that philosophy, the shadow self. You create or you feed this monster, and then that monster will soon inevitably kill you. So it's like you are the creator of the Grim Reaper. You control that, and you program it. You bring it. You fucking bring it to life. Like, you are responsible for your shit. So it's like, for me, it's like, own up to your bad side, like of drinking, drug abuse, all these things, the self-destructive negative patterns that you then say, why is reality like this? Why did this happen to me?
Right.
It's like, you created the monster. You are the monster.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
almost
it's
like
going to kill you.
Defense mechanism where you're like, I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm going to self-destruct instead of let some mysterious thing kill me instead.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what Jung was getting at was, if you have two choices, and if you decide to self-destruct in order to control your own destiny, then you know exactly how far you can get, and you limit yourself.
Yeah.
But if you give yourself over in an act of faith to the universe, to God, to whatever it is, then you're going to act in order to fulfill your highest potential.
For sure.
And so it's I like that.
That's the greatest battle of life, right? It's to destroy your shadow self. The what is it? If you die before death, then when you die, you don't truly die. Like, it's something. It's way better than that. I think that's in that book too. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that reminds me of the old Aristotle quote. I think it was, "I hold he who conquers himself braver than he who conquers others." Something like that.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, yeah, the greatest. I think the quote ends with, "The greatest victory is over the self."
That's for sure. And I think that's, I mean, if we jump back to kind of like the chaos of the world and the internet and the way that we disagree on stuff. I bet today marks 1 week off of Facebook.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
I don't know if it's a good job or not, but it feels different. It's a weird thing. It's an itch. Once you get rid of the itch, you don't itch it anymore. You don't crave to itch
How much
it.
were you on Facebook
A good
at this point?
amount.
Were you?
I mean, I read the book Irresistible. I listened to the podcast with that guy or something. I don't know. Rogan's talked about it a lot too. Then just reading some of these philosophy books and just kind of coming back to tune with Earth. I just feel like it's so much. I don't watch reality TV because I'll watch it and I'll sit there and I'll keep watching it. Like it feeds me. I don't eat fast food because it's fast food. So I think it's just this fast food dopamine. It's changing the way of our perception. I thought about this the other day of that, because actually it was Pedro's wife, and she asked me, she's like, "Do you think there will be a civil war after if Trump wins?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "No, there's gonna be." And I'm like, "Go offline for a little bit, because it's built up online so much that when you come back down to earth and if you have conversations with really anybody, we're all just like, I mean, I talk to people randomly at the grocery store and stuff all the time, and we're just completely different, but we're also way more similar than we are different.
Yeah.
And also, it doesn't seem like chaos out. I mean, it's not. It's some places, yeah.
Yeah. I
Just-
think if
I don't
there's
know.
any kind of conflict like that, it's going to be between concentrated groups of people.
Proud
It's-
Boys versus Antifa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and among so if you think about everybody who's been showing up to the protests, hundreds of thousands of people across the nation.
Lots of white people.
Lots of white people, lots of black people too. I mean, to be honest, at this point, you can
Yeah.
see it's everybody, and we're a majority white nation, so of course there's going to be lots of white
True.
people.
Yeah.
Of those people that are showing up, how many of them? Number one, if you watch when the gas comes out, most people scatter. They're not that organized.
Yeah.
So how many of them are actually going to organize to fight?
Good point. Yeah.
And then they're going to be fighting against each other. And then what's going to happen is daddy's going to come home and say, all right, that's enough.
Right. And then we learn about all these weapons that the CIA and the Army and the military have that we're unaware of.
I mean, we're aware of enough that they...
Yeah, like the sound machines and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I mean, yeah, that's
Exactly. Like, what chance do you possibly stand?
I know.
You don't.
I know exactly. Yeah, and that's it's poking the bear too. That's like there's ways to organize and probably overtake the government, political parties. There are ways to do it. It's a slow burn.
Yeah.
That's why the people that are in power right now are in power because they've been at this game 3 Bushes ago. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's this thing has been a slow game because you just inch a little farther and farther. You inch to a lockdown, a quarantine, a terror threat level. You start imposing all these things, and they're not going to be taken away. Then they have a little bit more control.
Yeah. New tool on the tool belt every time.
Yeah, and now it's Biden versus Trump. Like, these are the people?
Right.
It's crazy.
That's why, I mean, it's insanity. And anybody who tells you, oh, you're throwing away your vote if you vote third party can fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Honestly, sorry to take it there, but...
I'm right into Hunter Biden.
Yeah. Kanye 2020 all day.
Yeah.
Let's get weird with it. Fuck it.
Wasn't he was supposed to be on Rogan this Friday, but young Jamie got COVID.
Yes, indeed.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Are you in any of those like Spotify like conspiracies about him and his show?
I haven't really looked into any of them, and I think maybe I've just heard one or two in passing. So
Yeah,
no.
that's all I've really heard, just
Yeah,
passing
sure.
things up. But I'm like,
Like
I
I know
don't
Bert
know.
Kreischer was upset about.
yeah,
you
with
know,
the sober October.
yeah, thinking they were trying to phase him out to make it a little more serious. and
I don't know.
corporate.
I don't know, honestly, but because big corporations, you can't really trust anybody that's making that much money. Can you?
I mean, when it's Joe Rogan,
That's the one, but that's Joe Rogan. But Spotify technically owns him, right? Like
Well,
Spotify doesn't work for
not
him. He
according to
works
him.
for that. Yeah,
according to him, it's a partnership.
true.
You
Yeah.
know, if you listen to the way that he explained it, at least, and you buy it, I mean, that's obviously part of his branding. So if he did give up some sort of control creatively, or marketing wise or something like that, then he probably wouldn't necessarily just come out and say it.
I don't believe that would be the case. I just wonder if like it's like a shadow control of things that are kind of in some way or another out of his control in a way. Like you sign some weird contract and like some of these dark, mysterious forces start kind of pulling strings in weird ways. I don't know. I don't trust the man.
I mean, once you
Not
get
Joe Rogan. I don't trust the man.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
corporations. Like I don't think there's ever been, besides Amazon, great company. You know what I mean? That
yeah, Bezos, I think, is the most morally clean
Oh, for sure.
of all of them.
He's one of the best.
Yeah, I think everybody likes. I don't think I've seen anybody ever show.
How long until somebody like him now runs for president?
I don't know. I was wondering if Elon was going to do that a few years ago. You know what I mean?
How would you feel about Elon running?
I'd vote for him.
I'd feel better than fucking.
I feel like Andrew
Trump and
Yang
Biden.
was our
I liked him too.
version of that. You
Yeah.
know, where it's like, an actual intelligent individual with a sense of technique, like a technical sense of how to get things done.
Just thinking of the future. I mean, make America great again. Revertigo. Like what? We're not in the past.
Yeah.
Telling to myself, this isn't Halloween when you're 12 years old anymore. Like you can't relive those feelings. You have to create new feelings. Like you can't
Is there
keep on
anything
trying to
sadder
bring
than being an adult
Frankenstein.
in a costume and not having a good time?
I'm having a good time. I'm just
I know that
saying.
you're having a good
I'm
time,
just
but-
saying. Maybe that's why I'm like I did choose Frankenstein's monster because I'm trying to bring back alive some of these old feelings of optimism and I don't know, man.
It just reminds me of seeing, like when you see like some lady in a sexy unicorn outfit at the check cashing store, and she's like yelling at her kids, and you're just like, ooh, what happened with life over there?
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. Like sometimes I don't dress up normally. Like even as you're talking about Halloween and like, getting those good feelings and stuff like that. It's been a long time for me since I've like really done that, or not to like pity party or whatever, but it just has. I don't go out and do shit like that with friends. I don't have the biggest circle of friends anymore. Anyways, I didn't even I don't celebrate my birthday or anything like that. It just. That's not
Jehovah's
how
Witness.
I do it. Yeah, I don't know if apparently, yeah. So yeah, I just bear witness to Jehovah, and that's how I celebrate life from a moment to moment.
I get that, dude.
Right.
Dude, but back to so talking about these people on the internet, we're talking about conquering the ego and the inner self and how they're out loud. People want to fight, right? The greatest battle. This is going off from what you were saying previously about the greatest battle is defeating yourself rather than the enemy, or something like that, right? What was it?
Yeah, the greatest victory is over the self. I count he who conquers himself braver than those who conquer armies, or something like that.
So this is the thought that I had. When people are arguing on the internet or people are very argumentative, people are trying to push their points on you, I want to start asking to look at their screen time and see how much of their day-to-day are they spending just on their screen, scrolling, swiping, texting, liking, forwarding, sharing, YouTube videos, Snap. It's such a huge number that people just don't really tap into. I mean,
It's so much.
yeah.
I'm trying to say you said it, and I'm like, okay, where am I at?
Yeah.
It's Tuesday, so what do we have? 2 days on our belts. I think it's counting from, or is this just today?
It's just today. It just is the day.
Oh God. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I've been on here for I think 6 hours. It said today.
Yeah.
That's insane. It's almost 7.
So that's the average is 5.5, I believe.
Okay.
But that's not real because if you look at the population, the majority of people that are on their phones on the social media is like you can't really take into account these older people, parents, and even the parents are on Facebook and all that. But I mean like older people or younger people.
Yeah.
Like it's probably 7 to 10 hours for most people.
Well,
So
mine gets skewed because of Uber as well.
oh, true. Yeah, that's true. But I just think of that of being like, what are you learning from outside of usually on your phone, it's an echo chamber. You've created an echo chamber and sorts of yourself, like the book Irresistible talks about. If you Google search something, or if I Google search something based on what we've previously been looking at, what news articles, that will be the ones that are then our Google feed. And like it happens on all these websites, and they know us to this algorithm that is so insane that it's put it down, read a book, go outside, go to the park, take a walk, exercise a little bit. Just, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, to be honest with you. My whole point was I'd like the thought of being like, before the next person that argues with me about this and that and how they're right and I'm wrong, I'm going to be like, what's your screen time and what are you doing with your life besides arguing on the internet?
You have to have a screen time requirement before you engage in arguments.
Well, I just actually want to see a hologram kind of just start projecting after we
Yeah.
get the chip in ourselves.
Of course.
I just want to unplug. I don't know. Maybe this is kind of circling back to you asked like the 1 week off of Facebook and why, and just I was feeding my ego more. I had to create it originally to control the band page because Facebook made that trap. Then all of a sudden I became more self-involved in trying to build something that I'm trying to build.
Yeah, you mentioned this last week, and
Yeah.
I really liked what you said about, if you just have, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about, and I think this might have been off mic, but about having, I don't hang out. When I'm at home, I don't just kind of kick back and watch TV. I'll watch podcasts while I'm working, I'll listen to them. And then when I come home, I sit down and have lunch, and I'll throw a podcast on.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm done eating, I'm back to work, either on homework or, writing jokes or whatever it is that I'm
Yeah.
trying to work on today. And then I'm back out the door to work later because I control my own schedule and I break it up that way.
That's nice. Yeah.
It is nice. And so, but I don't just hang out. And so I don't have friends
Yeah.
with whom I just go and hang out. And
Yeah.
it's weird and I don't really want to come and just hang out and sit there and watch TV.
Right.
So you surround yourself with people who are you're in working relationships with, and these are your friends.
That's a great point. Now that you say that out loud and I hear it, what it is you create the people that inspire you or push you forward in a way. If you surround yourself with people that are just going to barbecue, watching football games and going on their phone all day, like that's kind of what you become in a way. It's like if you,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? It's like if you think about your gut biome or something like that, it's like it feeds all the things that you're feeding it. So you become that essentially. So if you surround yourself by artists and people that are also trying to push.
It's the metaphor about the hungry wolves.
Yeah.
You got two wolves inside of you. One is one's productivity, and the other's wasteful and gluttonous. And which one are you going to feed? And that's the one that's going to get stronger.
I've never heard that before, but I like that. But I don't. What was I going with that? But I don't know what we're talking about. I forgot for a second.
Well, you mentioned. I like that you mentioned.
It's going somewhere.
If you hang out with people who are just trying to hang out and barbecue and grill and watch the game. I mean, I have, Facebook memories will pop up from a couple years ago, and it's like me celebrating an Arizona Cardinals win, and I'm just like, the people that I was hanging out with at that time, I don't hang out with anymore.
Yeah.
They're all dealing with their own things, and I just we had our own just for whatever reason we don't talk or hang out that much.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to fault them or myself or say I'm better than them or whatever because I like doing other things, but exactly like you said, it doesn't provide me anything to watch a football game and then have my team win or lose. I enjoyed that because I was hanging out with family, because it was my cousins and close friends and stuff like that. That was what I liked.
Yeah.
So once everybody started getting drunk and acting a fool and falling down and not watching their kids, I'm not interested anymore in being around it.
Yeah.
And what have I got to show for all that time I just spent now?
Exactly. Yeah. There's no growth in it.
And there's no creativity. There's nothing created.
No.
Nothing I can look
Just
back on and go,
consume.
that's great.
Consume. It's really just looking for the quick dopamine hit. It's the same thing of waiting for that posting that picture, posting this to try to get that engagement to kind of give you that, that feels good, because like with art, it doesn't feel good a lot of the time. And usually it doesn't even feel good until, for me personally, a couple years later, I look back, I'm like, actually, that wasn't that bad.
Maybe I'm a narcissist. I really like creating the art, and when I do create something, I'll listen to it over and over and over again until I've worn it out, and then I go, Oh my God, that's such garbage. I
Well, that's
gotta
what
create something new now.
that's well then you want to up it too. So that yeah, well that's probably a reason why I hate what I do so much because I do listen to it not even to listen to enjoy because you're trying to critique and fix one little part, one little bar, one little word, one syllable that you twist up
Yeah.
or twist down. It's like just that nobody would even fucking
Or
notice.
on one recording, your voice broke in a way that sounded cool,
Mm-hmm.
but on the next one, the rest of it was all good, and you're like, well, I just go with this
Yeah.
one. But every time you listen to the track now, you're like, remember how good that other sounded? You know,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
shit happens to me all the time. I obsess over it too. So
Mm-hmm.
when I'm in creative mode, I'm kind of like a shitty person to be around if you're not also creating or involved in it with me, or if you're not interested in hearing about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to be like, hey, you want to check this out really quick? And then I'll play it and I'll be like, did you hear this? What if it was like this? And it's just, most people are like, I don't care what you're doing because it's not my project.
That's probably why I don't have any friends, really, because I don't care because I don't care about somebody's opinion. I don't need to constantly be like, hey, check, like, if you want to support it or don't support it, I'm not going to keep on begging you to come back and try to fulfill me because sometimes I feel like a lot of people don't give their honest opinion or can't get invested in it because they're projecting their own insecurities of not doing anything intellectually on their own.
Yes.
It's
I
like
do have
they
some
watch
people who kind of just go, why are you doing that?
Yeah, because they watched football for
not do
4
that?
hours
Yeah.
or went shopping and bought something to try to fill that void. It's like you're just filling the void in a different way and you're belittling somebody else because you are too afraid to make yourself vulnerable because you have your ego somewhere that you want protected.
Or maybe you're totally fulfilled by, playing video games or whatever it is that you do,
Yeah.
but you feel insecure when somebody else has something else that they do which appears productive or meets some societal expectation that you have in your head, and so I would say most of that has to do with being insecure and not as much to do with having any genuine disdain for somebody doing better for themselves.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, I should do better for myself.
I think that's more of what it is because
And now they have this pressure on that they don't want. So they're like, if you would stop doing that.
but playing video games is what was the word that you used? Like it is satisfying.
Beneficial,
Satisfying.
satisfying.
But a lot of bad habits are satisfying. Like it goes back to your comfort zone will kill you. It goes back in the sense that just because it tastes good, it feels good, it hit that quick dopamine hit, doesn't mean that in the long run that it's going to serve you anything. And I think that's the greatest trick that society has played on us is that trying to get the quick. We're the rat in the cage hitting that button, hitting that button. And we've been trained and designed for that.
I love that you said the rat in the cage. Johan Hari is the shit.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, he's a guy who talked about on Rogan. He had a couple of appearances on Rogan. Johan Hari. He talks about the rat experiment and how the rats in the cage would hit the button for the cocaine, but if you let them roam free and have access to plentiful,
that's right.
Friendship and resources.
Yeah,
stuff
they
like
would.
That. They don't give a fuck.
That's
about
right.
Cocaine.
Wasn't there also in that? Is that the same study about like the location of where that button was, or is that a different? That might be.
I'm not sure. That might be just more nuanced than I'm aware of.
I think kind of goes into the whole thing of the Vietnam soldiers that got addicted to heroin when they were overseas, but when they came back home into a society that wasn't filled by that, they weren't addicts to a very highly addictive substance because their circumstances were different.
Yeah, because this experiment was rats in a cage with just a water thing and the cocaine and no wheel or nothing.
Yeah.
And over here it was like a rat playground. It was like a theme park for rats.
Yeah.
And so when they were in the theme park, they didn't care about the cocaine. When they had nothing, the cocaine was the only thing that they could do to occupy themselves.
Yeah.
So. And that's his theory about depression and things like that, is that if you can't find something meaningful to do with your life, that's when you turn to these compulsive habits and things like that.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, personally at least, when I am aimless, when I have nothing concrete that I'm working towards, is when I get the most down and the most self-destructive and my schedule falls off the most.
Yeah.
But anything, even just having this to do today, when I got the call, hey, can you show up here it was like, okay, cool. All of a sudden, I was like, I have a purpose and I have something I have to do today.
Yeah.
And whereas I might have procrastinated for another 20 minutes if that wasn't going on,
Yeah. And
I was up and moving this morning.
yeah.
you know?
No, I see. I think that makes sense. Should we give Pete a call? Should we see what he's
Let's
doing?
give him a shout.
He made us. I didn't. This wasn't my idea, to be honest with you. I didn't want to do this at all. But he said, if you're gonna have somebody take my place, then you have to. You have to. I don't think I've called him before. Let's see. God, how do you do all this?
How do you make a phone call?
How do you phone call? Okay, there we go.
You want me to tell a topical joke while we're waiting? No,
Let's hear it.
no, it's garbage. I don't have any. I'm just kidding.
I would love if he didn't pick up.
Or he picks up and he's vomiting.
Yo, the Corona kid.
What's up?
Pedro!
What are you doing? What are you even doing right now? Why is the camera so close to your face that I can't even? No, stop doing that.
I'm naked.
Are you in the closet, Pedro?
And is that figuratively or?
That's not funny.
I don't know. I can't see you.
Yeah.
No, bro, I'm in bed.
You don't even look sick. First of all, you look like you just. I don't know.
Bro, I've been having diarrhea all day. Okay.
Yeah, that's called a Mexican diet. Okay, refried beans
Well,
and
yeah, okay,
tamales
yeah.
season.
What
okay?
level of diarrhea are we talking here? Hold on. Let me go get Dr. Zevia really quick.
Oh shit!
Oh, whatever. Dr.
Wait.
Zevia's retired, dude. His wife died and he retired.
Hello, that's very funny. Dr. Zevia here. My wife did die.
And it wasn't a COVID case, bro. You
Dumb
murdered
bitch.
her.
Whoa! Don't say that on air, Pedro.
Oh, sorry.
You must be loopy from the medicine.
I'm no longer
is-
a doctor,
It's good.
but I am a DJ.
Oh, now you're a DJ?
Yes. And as a DJ, I am an expert in diarrhea.
Oh.
Tell me the consistency of your diarrhea, Pedro, and I'll tell you your future.
Super liquidy.
Use a soup to
water.
describe it, please.
Yeah. Like cream of weed or chicken noodle.
Oh, it's
Cheddar broccoli.
No, bro, it's literally just the broth.
So-
it's not even chunks. It's not even noodles. It's not mushrooms. No.
It's like
It's just
menudo
the
minus the tripe.
Yep, that sounds
Yeah.
like stomach cancer. You're gonna die.
Damn.
Whoa, bro.
Well-
Whoa.
I'm sorry, that's
Good
just my
DJ.
DJ
Wow,
experience.
diagnosis.
Well, luckily this podcast worked out so well that since Pedro's dying, so
You guys are assholes.
yeah, whatever, dude. I'd rather have a
You guys are-
asshole than a whole ass. Okay.
I was like, oh, these guys are gonna talk good about me. Like, you're gonna say how good of a friend I am. I'm keeping you fucking safe, okay? I'm not super spreading like DJ T, all right?
You're
bro?
not even sick. First of all, you're watching TV. I can see it in your eyes. Love Island's on TV.
It's not Love Island, okay? It's a very wholesome show.
Okay, what is it?
The Unicorn.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How
Okay,
the
so-
mighty have fallen. This is the kind of guy we were talking about earlier on this podcast.
Jeez.
Looking for that dopamine hit, that quick
Yeah.
release.
You have a
Wanna-
kid and you
wanna
think
see
you
my
found
temperature?
meaning.
Hold on. I'll show you my temperature right
I don't want
now,
to see
bro.
your
Look.
temperature stick, dude.
Hey, did you find out whether or not you have COVID right now?
Not yet. I took a test earlier today. Look at this.
But you
I'm
don't
taking
get
it right
corona.
now. I'm taking my test right now.
Yeah. Why is it in your ear?
Look at this, dudes.
101.
Yeah. So fuck you. I'm not sick.
Oh,
Okay.
back off.
Dang.
Jeez. You were probably just doing like the Home Alone trick where you have like a heat pack over your head before we called you. Like,
Yeah.
this is shit's getting hot, bro. I'm waiting for them to call.
Pass away. Let him see him. No, dude, I wouldn't do the Home Alone shit, bro. I'm legit in bed, bro.
Sorry that you're pretending to be sick, Pedro.
Yeah, I'm sorry too.
Whatever.
Ferris Bueller my dick off, okay?
What are you even? Dude, you look like old Greg, bro.
You don't even know who that is, and I hate Old Gray. I look more like the creature from the Green Lagoon.
Funky ball of tits
Oh,
from
yeah,
outer space.
That's
I don't know.
old Greg, bro. Literally comes out from a lagoon.
Oh, really?
He really does.
Oh, well,
Yeah, dude.
whatever.
Can you learn to love me, bitch? Whatever, bro.
Okay, well,
I like your propeller hat, though, CJ.
Thank you, bro. Do you know how long I looked for a propeller hat? My whole entire high school band experience, every show we would play, I would say, I'm looking for a propeller hat like Bill Murray, because we had a song called Bill Murray. Could never find one. Eventually found this one at Fry's Electronics.
That's a really weird spot to find a propeller hat.
I keep on moving.
Right.
I keep on moving my phone to try to get a better angle of Pete, only to realize that he's the one in control of his angle.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like it's a 3D picture.
Yeah, I'm like trying to I can get him on screen. So, dude, don't do that. Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to see
Dang,
that.
we went full nip on
First
this
you complain
podcast.
that I'm not showing enough, and then you complain that that's too much.
See, we didn't
Fair
have this
point.
energy before. Thank you, Pedro.
Fair point.
Come on, guys.
Okay.
Figure out what you want. That's why you guys are single, bro.
Whatever. Oh, that's
Okay.
that's
There's
how
a
we're gonna
lot
end.
of reasons.
I didn't
Do you see how we're dressed right now? That's why we're single. I'm 32 fucking years old, motherfucker. Okay.
I chose to be here.
We're just two 30-year-olds, dude, dressed up and cut with makeup on.
Yeah, talking to our sick friend
Last
over the
week when
phone.
I dressed up as pants, I showed it to my boss, and he's like, "Dude, you're 30. What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "I'm a child at heart, bro."
His
Okay.
boss is 26.
Right.
Yeah,
He's like, dude, I used to look up to you.
That he was dressed as Darth Vader.
"Damn.
Yeah.
How's it going? How are you guys?"
Good. My hand's getting a little tired holding this, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I'm getting a little tired of talking to this guy. I wish that you came back.
All right. Yeah.
Well, we got the election episode coming up.
Good talking to you guys.
So if you survive
Oh,
the
I was
stomach
talking
cancer,
about
oh.
Nick. Pedro thinks I just made fun of him. I was making fun of you. I'm
Yeah, we
sorry.
should say. Let's both say one nice thing about Pedro before we leave.
Even though you're really sick, you look like you're well rested, which I never do. So good job.
That's a really good. God bless. Yeah, I can't
Thank
top
you, bro.
that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Tried to, Nick. Tried to.
I was gonna say your nipple looked like an old chicken nugget. So
You do have a really
McDonald's
full
or Burger
nipple.
King?
Look at how full that nip is.
yeah, that's
There's-
wow.
There's some meat behind that thing.
There's definitely meat, but there's got a little hair.
Okay.
Yeah, how come you only grow like 5 hairs from your nipple? Where's the
And
rest of
your foot. He showed us a foot pic today.
Yeah, the rest
So-
of it's all grown out of your
Yeah,
foot.
you have more foot hair than mustache hair. That's
Or
crazy.
chest hair. Yeah, yeah.
I've been thinking of starting an OnlyFans, dude, just for feet content. You know how much people make off of just feet content?
Bro, your feet are
And it doesn't have to be
haggard.
like
Yeah.
Your feet are so gnarly.
Why? What are you talking?
I was like, I know he's sick, but you could clip your nails or something if you're gonna wear sandals.
What color is your toenail?
You want to see it?
Look at it right now and tell me what color it is.
The big toenail looks like Bill Cosby's mugshot
It's-
that got released today.
You know what's funny? This toenails raped a couple of people too.
Okay. Says the guy not in costume. That's scary.
Says the guy wearing just boxer
I was supposed to
shorts.
be I was supposed to be a bird today, bro.
I know. Your wife told me that.
I know. What a spoiler,
I
dude.
know, dude.
It was-
Chismosa, that's what we call him.
We're still flying high, Pedro.
I got you a gift, and then she's like, "You want to know what it is?" I was like, "No, surprise me."
Hmm.
Your wife got you a gift?
No, I'm saying she's one of those people that when she gets gifts, she's like,
Oh.
"You wanna know what you got?"
All right.
She spoils everything. She spoils everything.
Yeah. Me and Nick are just like, when's the last time I got a
Follow
gift?
along, guys. Follow along.
Yeah, well, it's hard with you sometimes, to be honest with you, Pedro. You're sick. You're going on weird
You're
Biden
loopy.
rants. It just, I don't know.
Yeah. Corn Pop was a bad guy. Look, Fat.
Come on, man.
Listen, Fat. Come on, man.
Come
What
on,
are you guys
man.
sipping on, huh? I can't have any alcohol right now.
Jamie Lynn Spears is talented. Come on, man. I
She
want to
is,
sniff
man.
her.
Dude, the Deep Hollywood Elite impregnated her when she was under 18, dude.
She's back, baby.
Is she?
Yeah, she's just putting out some new whatever. I don't know. I couldn't get interested enough to figure out what it was. but
Well, we brought it up here, so that's cool.
yeah.
What are you supposed to be, CJ?
I'm a hobo blues clown, motherfucker.
Yeah, Pedro.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Hobo blues clown.
I thought I saw you under the underpass earlier today.
Yeah, you saw me shining under the underpass.
Yeah, because you weren't at home.
Use the right words. I was shining.
Oh, sorry. I drove to get my COVID test, you ass.
Under a bridge? That's not where you're supposed to go, first of all.
I gave
Under
Pedro
the
his
sun.
COVID test.
Have you ever heard that song, dude? Okay.
Did you know that your COVID test was going to be applied anally?
I didn't know that. No, I was expecting something in the nostril. No, nasal
It was a
cavity,
good
but
surprise, though.
they were. I mean, I came a little.
Was it
I
sad?
saw that.
Was it sad that the clown couldn't even get an erection because he looked at your feet?
Yeah, but I'm gonna let you go now. Okay, now this is just you guys are assholes.
Whatever, man.
I hope you pass your COVID test, Pedro.
Yeah, we love you. We miss you, and hopefully you'll be here next week. And if you're not, you'll be here in my thoughts and prayers. So that's cool.
I'll be here. Zoom chat, bro.
Finally.
I might get evicted from my apartment, but I'll be here anyways.
Hell yeah.
What, dude?
If I have to keep filling in for you all the time.
Yeah.
You're really dressing for the part, huh?
This ain't no joke. This is my life.
Dress for the life you want. What is this saying?
For the job you want, for the job you have.
Yep.
Makes total sense.
For sure.
Little propeller hat.
All right. We'll get well soon. Eat a fuck ton. The only thing that I've ever heard that ever helped me get over being sick was eat a shit ton of calories and sleep your ass off.
I'm on that. What's it called? The Brat diet. It's banana, rice, applesauce, and what's
Tacos.
So you're stealing your daughter's food. Okay, Bather, I'm going to let you go now. And is there anything you'd like to say to our viewers before you sign off here?
Well, I'm upset.
I had to do that. It wasn't my fault.
He was just gonna keep
It
going
was just
on
gonna keep,
and on.
my
and
arm
on.
was generally getting tired. I'm not even joking,
That's actually
dude.
pretty good. You're probably gonna be sore tomorrow.
I might be sore tomorrow. What did you
He laughed.
I feel like it was such an obvious joke, but I had to do it. Anyways.
That's good. I didn't see it coming.
Neither did he, sucker. He's a good dude, though.
I love
that
Pedro,
guy.
man.
What you guys? So I think like you weren't friends for a while, right? Like you came to one of my shows, then you kind of like became friends again.
It's been this way since we got out of elementary school. So in elementary school, we were friends the way kids in elementary school are friends.
Yeah.
I went to his trailer, as a matter of fact.
Uh-huh.
He lived in the same trailer park as me, and so yeah, I went over there and I got to smell his parents' cooking and experience people of a different ethnicity, and it was really fucking cool. And we were into like the same shit. We met. I think we talked about this on the first podcast I did with you guys, but crossing paths in the hallway. I think it was Pete that went Jupiter.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Kel from Keenan and
Yeah.
Kel, yeah. And I was like, Jupiter, but I watched that shit too. And so we like made friends, and he lived down the street, so we hung out a bunch of times. And then like around middle school, we like didn't hang out. Around middle school is when it started, where basically whenever we would cross paths, we would say what's up. And mostly that was Pete would be driving past my house. We'd be in the garage practicing, and he would just pop under the garage door
Oh,
with
gotcha.
like a joint or something, and
Yeah.
we would smoke out and talk shit for a little bit, and then
Get back to it.
a couple months goes by.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to lie. When he started talking about on social media that he had a podcast, I was in one of my little depressed little funks, and
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do something cool enough that he'll ask me to be on the podcast.
Oh really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's funny.
So I set out to do that.
God, starting this thing was so embarrassing.
Really?
Because you have to muscle through so it's actually nice to
I
hear.
just did my first thing like that today that you're saying
Yeah.
right now.
Oh.
So I know what you mean now. I feel like I can't get started because
And then-
I'm like I can't publish that.
Exactly. And then you're on 10 and you're like, dude, we've got it. And then 15 comes and you're like, oh, this is terrible. Then I kind of always had it in my head, by 100, you'll kind of start at least finding your voice a little bit more. But you suffer through 100 episodes of just, yeah. I mean, still now I hate how it sounds, but I can now establish a difference between the beginning and now.
I can say that I've heard you guys grow since I started listening to you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean,
I don't mean that as a slight at all. Like for sure, it's a compliment because, like in the early days, there were just the common shit, talking over each other or not not keeping up on each other's beat a little bit, you know what I mean? And nowadays when I listen to the podcast, it's like anybody else. It's fucking super entertaining, and you guys have like your own like references built into it now.
I
and
appreciate it. That's
everything.
awesome.
And yeah, I love this podcast, man. You guys are great.
What's funny, I guess a big part of that though too is not only is it harder than you think to just talk. Like, oh, dude, me and my friends get high and we talk all the time. It's like
Right
true.
now I'm feeling that. Yeah.
Yeah, but with him, like we weren't really friends, like because we go back to the thing with having friends with people that you do stuff
Yeah.
with. So we hung out maybe once or twice, and I kind of got him into podcasts. So we talk about it in the passing, and then I don't know what made us kind of be like we should do that, and then kind of slowly becoming an idea. But when we started this, like he had never came over to my apartment before. That was the first time he had ever been to my place. So it's like
Really?
yeah, so it's
That's
kind
crazy.
of weird that.
How did you guys meet again?
Kind of through his wife because she's a manager where I work at, and then he'd work there sometimes. So that's kind of, yeah,
That was it.
Yeah,
That was
that's it.
The connection.
yeah. And then it's just the way that I have to
Did you
commend
guys
him.
bullshit enough that you were like, we should do this on microphones?
I don't know. I think it was that I personally loved. Podcasting hit me in the same way as music did. Like it really came to me. I was in such a dark place, man. And I knew about it years and years prior. I didn't have the attention span to listen. I couldn't get into it. I didn't fucking understand why people would want to listen to people talk. And I
Feel
just
that,
could
all of
not.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I couldn't dial into it. But when it finally hit me, dude, it was like, it's changed my life.
Absolutely.
And I think when something changes my life, I want to kind of, I don't know, do it a little. I mean, or something in some way. It really hit me. So I kind of always wanted to do it.
I want to share podcasts the same way I
That's-
want to share
yeah,
music.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, or books. You know, just
Yeah.
this. It's another creative outlet.
The Mike Tyson Evander Holyfield podcast. Have you listened to that yet?
No.
Hotboxing with Mike Tyson. He has Evander Holyfield on, and they talk, and they both are talking about their mothers.
Okay.
Evander, everything is about his mother and the way she raised him.
Yeah.
Mike didn't have a mom, and was a fucking tyrant and a hellion, you know. And so you hear these two world champions,
Yeah.
and it's like seeing the devil and the angel on
Gotta go.
some shoulder. It's amazing.
Wow. I'll check that out.
Yeah, and it's something that I'll show my children if I ever have any. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's that much of an incredible observation on what a human being is. You know,
Yeah.
and that came from a podcast.
Right. It's insane. But it's just I don't know. And that's the thing, I guess. So when we met, and I guess we had kind of banter, obviously, where we kind of like would go off on tangents or whatever, a little bit, you know. But I think for me, it was something that I wanted to do, but I was like, dude, I can't. It's the same thing of like, I'm going to be so embarrassed.
What am I gonna
but
talk
I
about?
needed at least one other person because it helps kind of like,
So much, man.
helps to be like, well, he's here. So, I mean, I don't know what it is. It's just like being in a band or being like a solo artist. It helps to have that other person that's kind of in the
It's the communication
yeah.
art form.
Right.
It's very unique, the people who do it by themselves. Bill Burr, Tim Dillon.
Yeah, I mean, but even like Tim Dillon, his producer, like some of these,
Yeah,
they
that's
do
true.
kind of play into it where it's like he's kind of helpful.
He's riffing off of him
a
as an
little,
audience.
yeah,
As a live
exactly,
audience, yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah, I've been dying to have somebody try and start a podcast with me. And I've got a couple people who are interested in certain things. I've got one, my friend Kayla, she wants to do like a conspiracy theory podcast.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, like a conspiracy hypothesis where we break down the conspiracies.
Yeah.
So we have our initial reactions and then, investigate them, call like college professors and whatnot, which would be really cool. But just having somebody to riff off of
Yeah.
and just do a normal podcast with, I want so badly. And I'm going to end up having to do a Bill Burr thing because I can't.
I mean, that's
been
that's what we got to do. And we're kind of getting near the end of here. So the one thing I wanted to talk about today, but kind of circling around, I was gonna actually commend Pedro for being, like he's that dude, and even though we weren't great friends, he showed up every single week and kind of made it work. And that's like with a band or with anybody, it's like that's not, I mean, he has a child now, and he's still, I mean, yeah, he was sick today. I mean, he was sick, but also he's introduced me to like, you're an awesome dude. I feel like we're gonna be friends for a lot. Like I feel like a genuine connection with you as a friend, with somebody that I haven't with a lot of people. Like we were talking before we started, like being 30, I'm not like looking for friends. I don't really want
Yeah.
friends, but like somebody that does create and like is in that artist. Like we saw Tim Dillon live, like dipping your toes into that a lot of people don't do that anymore because they're so tired from work and they have this to do and they're worried about this, and just it's nice to be around those kind of people. But I commend Pedro for showing up every week and doing it and putting in the work, because that's why now at 118 episodes, is it great? No, but compared to episode 18, you can hear not that we've gotten better, you put in the work, so it's going to happen eventually. I mean,
Absolutely.
you are going to get better. I mean, if you play guitar every single day, you are going to be better at guitar. It's really that simple. It's that whole 10,000 hour thing that's such an annoying thing, but that's what
It's
it
a
is.
cliche, but it's also not wrong.
Yeah. So conspiracy, Hunter Biden. Do you want to talk about that a little
Let's
bit?
talk about Hunter Biden
Yeah.
and his fucking crack addiction
Okay,
or whatever.
well,
dude.
first of all, can the DNC get their fucking laptop shit together? Because
No
4 years
shit.
ago, Hillary Clinton's laptop, Hunter Biden's stop. Okay, no more laptops,
hard drive
iPads.
at the place, everybody shows up. Everybody does it at the same library, and
no more.
and it's
fucking
run by fucking
laptops.
John Podesta, and yeah,
No more laptops, DNC. Okay,
seriously, what are you doing?
he drops it
What
off
are you
at
doing?
a repair place.
And forgets it.
And
And you know what
forgets
though?
it. He's a
People have
crackhead.
been criticizing him and everything like that,
Yeah.
but they haven't smoked as much crack as Hunter Biden has smoked.
Yeah, he's not
Or
doing
they-
bad.
You don't have the lived experience.
Yeah.
If you're gonna judge Hunter Biden, you have to smoke crack.
He was actually he was so high on crack. He's like, I'm gonna drop off my laptop here because I have so much fucked up shit on it. That way I can say that the repair shop, it's Russia, and they implanted it there, or they uploaded the child pornography onto my laptop.
They've been using it.
They've
yeah.
been using it. Yeah, they've
These
been
creepy
using it.
Russian guys.
Yeah. So he was. Maybe
Who
that's
cares
what his
that
thumb.
who cares that it has like emails from my dad about
Ukraine deals.
knowing Ukrainian deals? Yeah. Like how, and like you were talking about earlier, how are we at this point? This is the guy.
I know.
This fucking guy.
I know.
How easy was it to beat Donald Trump in 2016 and you put Hillary goddamn Clinton?
That's how do you still support the DNC and say if they fucked over Bernie Sanders, however you feel about Bernie Sanders, regardless.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They fucked him over 2 times.
Absolutely.
It is completely rigged, just like the Republican Party
The
that
second
you
time
hate.
they didn't even try to hide it.
It's
The
been
first time they
exposed.
got busted, the second time
It's like-
they were just like,
They're
just
like-
ignore him. Just fucking ignore him. He'll go away.
It's insane. Like, I don't understand that blind faith to follow something. It's not serving any purpose by saying the third, saying a vote for the third party is a vote for Trump, or saying that not voting is a vote for Trump, or any of this. No, fuck you.
I wasn't going to vote for him in
It's-
the first place.
And it's your fucking party that's misrepresenting the things that you should be representing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like you're saying these other options aren't viable because you didn't give us a good enough
as bad
candidate.
as the DNC is that they elected and nominated and are supporting a corpse like a fucking tadpole that didn't ever turn into a frog, Joe Biden. The Republicans are no better.
Yeah.
A game show host, fucking casino
it's
peddling
pathetic.
motherfucker came and hijacked your thing, and you could do nothing about it.
Has been on camera making fun of people with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Like that talks about feminism.
Yeah, shoot a little bleach into your arm, you know? Because have you
And
seen
he's a
his
Christian.
speeches? Have
He's
you
a
been watching
Christian.
his speeches?
Some of them, clips of them or whatnot.
They're
Yeah.
like stream of consciousness.
Oh, that's what he.
Fox News sermons.
But
They're
that's
crazy.
what's working for people right now, because nobody wants to think. They don't nothing. And I made this point last week too about because Pete had the fly on his head. We're not discussing anything beyond the insult, the fly, or the comical. Stream of consciousness is what wins right now, because that's where
That's
our
as far
fucking
as we
attention
wanna
span
pay
is.
attention.
It is going, oh, fly, oh, squirrel.
I'm
like
glad
they
that you
can't
brought
do
this
that.
up because I also reacted to that point, which was actually part of the reason because I tuned in, I saw the fly land on his head, and I just started making a video for it.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, catch up to it later. And then I was like, I'll hear people talk about it. I don't care that much.
And what did they say? That's good. There's nothing. in
Neither
there.
of those people represent me.
Yeah.
So why did everybody focus on the fly and the bullshit? Because they don't have a stake in the game.
That's really deep, actually.
So the irreverence for it is the right response.
Yeah.
I'm actually happy about it. It just from that perspective.
That's interesting.
Just
I don't know if it's that deep though. I think people are just. I mean, what is it? 1/3 of kids are on.
it's not
Adderall,
about being deep though.
stuff.
It's just logic.
Got you.
What do you expect them to do when you haven't given them a choice
okay.
that's
Yeah.
among their preferences?
Yeah, that's okay. It's like if you're given a Martin Luther King, somebody that's speaking. I mean, even Obama had great speeches.
Yeah,
And he had there was flies. I've seen videos through like Reptilian Weird. Like I
Yeah.
kind of brought this up before, of like videos, and nobody brought those up. Like we thought about because he was actually making.
I've seen the
thoughts
fly
and-
conspiracy since like 2008.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird, but I
It's
mean, it's
odd.
also I don't know. It's like you get enough footage, you can see flies on everybody.
Exactly. And they speak outdoors a lot, and they are all making public speeches, and they're all nervous. So when a fly lands on them, they're like, "Do I swat it or do I just keep going?" And it's
Why
like,
wouldn't
they
you
can't
swat
be-
it?
Because they can't be natural. They're trying to perform, and they're not trained on how to deal with a
Yeah.
fly in their performance. You know,
So, do you think the Hunter Biden laptop is a conspiracy? Do you think this is Russia? Do you think he?
Director of National Intelligence just came out and last night and said it's not.
Yeah.
Yesterday morning.
Yeah, because they went to the email respondents and asked, like, "Is this Hunter Biden?" And everybody came back
Unless-
confirming, right?
Yeah, unless John Ratcliffe is Russian asset as well. You know, ask
That's
Hillary Clinton.
also the funny thing, right? It could go that deep, but also this is the same. We
How
were
many
4
times-
years ago. It's like
It's the boy who cried Russian at this point.
and this
dude.
is also this is like the Facebook rhetoric, you know. These are the things, the stories that will disappear in 3 days that we spent so much time thinking of, posting about, like trying to consume when it's not an actual deep thought.
right.
I think because
it's a distraction.
yeah, and it's also I think we are so it's like fear of missing out that we want to whatever's the newest. That's what we want to dive into. And so whatever happened 3 months ago, or we kind of just roll over, no matter how important it was or how big
Yeah.
it was, right? We're just kind of like, oh well, but
There's
now look at
almost
this.
No such thing as a bombshell anymore.
Yeah,
Breaking news happens, and
exactly.
we're like, "Ooh, remember breaking news?" And you go, "Oh my God, this is happening
What
right
is it?
now."
This is live.
yeah.
There's the helicopters.
Right now, this is happening.
Yeah.
it's completely unfurbished.
That's
you know?
that's a great line. There's no there's no bombshells anymore. I mean, it goes the school shootings. How many there were? Like, it kept happening. That when Columbine happened,
How about Vegas?
that one.
Whatever
Are
happened
we
to
gonna
that
open
guy?
that up right now?
Are we gonna talk about that ever?
Fuck, dude. Yeah.
What
One old guy,
Yeah,
assault rifles like that. People said like you can't shoot him. That
peeling people off with headshots.
yeah, breaking the hurricane-proof glass with a hammer.
Yeah,
Dude, that story is so fucking crazy.
yeah.
Like I'm getting goosebumps right now because I remember seeing that story on Apple News when I woke up and just feeling
Dude,
such
I
a weird.
spent hours
like-
watching the videos.
Oh, me too. And
I just
but it's such bullshit.
bodies with fucking holes in them and people walking. And oddly, the dude walking around like, I'm a medic. But why are you running around filming if you're a medic? Why
Yeah.
aren't you helping one of these people?
And why they said that the case is closed. The case is closed now. You know that, right? Like it's closed. That he had there's no alternative motive.
That's insane.
Like that's it's a closed case to that. To kill that many, was it 100 and something and injured 500?
I don't know. I can't even remember.
Yeah, I know it was like at least 120 people were shot and killed, and at least 500 were injured. So for that to be swept under America's metaphorical rug, so to speak, that's fucking crazy.
What does it feel like to you when you hear about it? And if you say, what's the first thing you would describe it as instead of the official
A
thing?
terrorist attack? I mean,
But what happened?
but if
What
it's
happened if not what we all know?
like
then what?
illegal gun trade, I've heard that conspiracy.
Okay.
Like gun
But
trade.
But what does your intuition tell you
About what
is
it was, what happened?
About what happened in Las Vegas? What do you think it was?
You know, man, it's hard to say. It feels almost like sometimes it's a real deep conspiracy going propaganda with it, where it's this way of controlling, because then you start going down it's this American country.
It almost feels like a bungled propaganda thing, right? Like a
right,
psyop.
exactly. It's like, and the CIA has done some shitty things in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Is this thing on? They've done a lot, a lot of things that will take American
They're
lives.
93% good though.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple good ones. There's just a couple bad
Just
seeds.
7%.
Exactly. But
Mostly
you
at night.
Think about it. Just the way that the story was closed, the way the story doesn't make sense. I don't know how anybody doesn't still talk about this, and I'm glad you actually brought this up because it still boggles my brain. And I hate that I haven't thought about it for a little bit because it's one of those things like 9/11 also gets so frustrating. You're like, what the fuck? If we're not fighting over this and
That's one of the first things that broke me down in terms of our reality was when people stopped giving a shit about 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
When it got swept under the rug of a news cycle, and
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, hold on.
Yeah.
Remember how I woke up and everybody was flipping out? All the adults everywhere,
Right.
like no one with any sense of authority.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care now. Like we're back to normal just because it's not happening.
Yeah, I know. There's no
Okay.
bombshells anymore. I guess
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's also these things happen. I guess that's what's crazy too, man. Think about all the wars that we've been in, racism, Nazis, we keep on.
Think about the way the media machine cycles up and spins up when these things happen.
The election
and then
years
once
and
the
stuff.
legislation gets passed,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a big deal. We don't talk about it anymore.
Oh yeah,
It's over.
yeah. This goes with like the stimulus deal. I remember 6 months ago, people I work with being like, "Oh, you hear the second one?" I'm like, "It's not coming."
Yeah.
The election's coming up. It's not coming. Like, and then they'll forget about it and it'll kind of go past and just now America's open again. It's going to be complete. I'm excited for November 3rd. Number because our podcast is going to be a lot of fucking fun that
Hell
day.
yeah.
But also because I feel like things will kind of start. They might get really crazy for a couple of days, but then they'll mellow out like a month later.
I'm not sure what's going to happen. If there is a civil war, it's going to be between a concentrated group of people.
Yeah.
And then there will be casualties, I'm sure, when it spills into the civilian world that is neutral to this whole thing,
Yeah.
basically, like to the point where people's heads are getting cracked open.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the military has to act on national soil, and that's when we go, fuck daddy's home. Now we can't play anymore.
Isn't it so fucked up that
And
we're not legally allowed to use tear gas in wars, but we used it on the protesters?
Is that the same thing? That sounds like one of those things where I would look it up and it would go, the tear
Fake?
gas they're talking about
It's
is
different.
mustard gas.
Oh,
You know what I
maybe.
mean? I don't know if that's true.
I don't know either.
I didn't look it up.
You know what? But to be fair, if there's a civil war, I'm going to say something that maybe I'll regret. But I feel like if it's a Proud Boy versus Antifa war, let God sort them out. You know, what I mean? A couple good ones
Yeah.
may die.
Yeah.
But some of them. I mean, I've seen some of those Proud Boy videos.
At the end of the
and
day-
we could lose a couple of them.
Yeah.
They're getting. I mean, I did this last week too. They're getting too cocky with their American flags and their flag with the blue line on their truck
They're not
sticker.
helping anyone. They're not.
Yeah, it's not.
It's entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
So as long as we can stay home and see it on YouTube
Yeah.
after the people who are brave enough to film it for us, those heroes.
I'm a medic.
That's a hero. You know what I mean? What's
Yeah.
that guy, BH something? He's filmed most of the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff.
What was his name?
That dude deserves a shout out. He's always right on the scene, and he's such a weird little albino creep. But yeah, man, like those people are heroes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All these people running around shooting each other in the streets are assholes. You know, and so, whoops, sorry. I've done that every fucking time I've been here.
You karate chop it.
I move around too much. But
The
yeah,
internet will control us all. I must disconnect.
I
must disconnect.
The people
Well-
who are giving us entertainment right now, that's it. You're the heroes.
Yeah.
And the people, obviously, who are necessary to maintain the infrastructure and you know, the hospitals and that stuff. But everybody else can fuck off and go to hell.
But vote before you do that, before you fuck off.
Yeah, vote in hell.
Vote in hell. All right, buddy. Well, thanks again for stopping by. It was
You're
a fun
welcome.
episode.
Yeah, I'm glad to end it on a high note that way.
Yeah. And you want to plug anything? Or do you want to go with our tagline? Do whatever you want to do.
Listen, go listen to George Carlin's advice about voting. And, nobody cares about you. So do what you want.
Amor y paz.